And in this video, I'm talking about the secrets on how to maintain the mindset to create a successful life and business. So this is for you if you are in business, maybe perhaps you're a coach, you're a consultant, you're a service-based business owner. I want to talk about, how to maintain that mindset to succeed, to win. And I remember early in my career, when I was looking at success in business, I'd always ask myself the question like, what are the secrets to success, right? Success in anything to do with life and business. And over the years, I'm a lot older than I was when I first started out, 44 now. There's a few things that I've picked up on. And what I want to do is share a couple of those insights with you so that you understand exactly perhaps what options you have available, because there are many different ways to maintain the right mindset. But what I want to do is just increase your awareness as to what you can adopt and to understand more about you as a human being so that you can make the necessary adjustments. So the obvious thing is, the saying is we are what we think. And if we're not thinking in a positive way, we kind of start to obviously go off the track to success. And in business, it's pretty challenging, because if you think about it, if you're employed, you have some, and I say this, some sense of security, because somebody else has the full responsibility of making sales, running the business, and so on and so forth. So when you are the business owner, there's a lot more stress on your shoulders. There's a lot more challenge, but also the upside is much bigger, right? If we take our business to the next level, we create more impact, more freedom, more income, it's on us. And so therefore the upside's big with running your business. But that being said, with those responsibilities of running your business, there are a lot of challenges, and those challenges create many different number of emotions, anger, frustration. There's also, isolation, shame, guilt, different things when things aren't going well. When things are going well, like, it kind of acts as a mask, because, when things are going well, we don't necessarily think, oh, we need to fix anything because it's going well. And it's only those who have this kind of awareness and this insight into, what else can I do to evolve upwards? What else do I need to adjust into, to change into, in order to become, more of your true potential, your full potential? And that's what leads me to mindset. And, we've all seen the different famous diagrams over the years of the iceberg, right? Which is, the iceberg image is, the top part is like surface layer, the conscious mind, but the bigger part of an iceberg, which is what most people are aware of, is actually the subconscious, right? And so in order to maintain the right mindset, we need to understand that the human brain works like a program, right? It works off the past, it works off what we've learned before. And so if the program, let's say, isn't as good as we need it to be, then perhaps just like a smartphone, or like a tablet or something, we need to run a software update or an operating system update, right? And the update is essentially what you need to become aware of around yourself in order to improve. So I'm going to touch on a few things that you can use in order to maintain, the success that you're looking for. And there are obvious things. I'm going to touch on a few of those. Now, we need to start with, well, where is our vision? Where is the target? Where do we want to be, right? Because if we understand the kind of life that we want to create, then we give ourselves more of the opportunity to think in a creative space where we can see things beyond where we are right now. Because that's also part of the trap, right? We get trapped into, we think where we are right now is all consuming, and perhaps that's where we're going to stay, especially if we're caught in low emotions, low vibration. So in order to raise, our mindset, we need to be in a place of growth mindset, meaning thinking towards, well, what's the vision? What can I actually become? What's the potential of my dreams? What's the potential of the service and impact that I want to create in my business and in my life? What is the potential of the ways that I can grow, for example, as me as a husband, as me as a father, me as a son, a brother, responsible person that contributes to the community? And these are the things that allow you to start to see much bigger than where you are right now, right? That's the first thing. We've got to put ourselves in a place of potential, right? But in order to make the potential a reality, we kind of have to bring it to now, right? Because it's all well and good looking into perhaps the future that we want to create. but we need to be able to live it now. We need to be able to see, feel it, and experience it. And you're probably thinking, well, how do you do that if my vision is to be a multimillionaire and I'm not yet a multimillionaire, Leon, or my vision is to have this or experience that, but I can't actually get to it? There are different ways that we need to program the mind in order to maintain that level of vibration, that level of frequency, that level of successful thinking, right? And there's many, I guess, coaches, mentors, and people that talk about this. You got the famous ones like T. Harv Eker, you've got Tony Robbins, Joe Dispenza, and a lot of people. And I want to share a couple of insights that I think will be very useful now. So let's say you do have a vision, you've got an idea of the dreams or the things that you do want to create. So in order to take that to that next level, you need to start to think, well, if I'm going to reprogram the mind and set the mind, on the right path, I need to be clear on what that actually looks like for me, because everybody's different. So there are different things that can shift your energy and your emotions, because energy in motion is basically your emotions. And if your emotions aren't in a good place, or you don't give yourself the opportunity to shift your emotions on a daily basis, if you don't give yourself the opportunity to change your environment, which also impacts your emotions, you get trapped in an environment that isn't conducive to where you see in your vision, to where you want to be, right? You might think it consciously, but subconsciously, 95% of who we are, what we do in this human form is controlled by the subconscious mind, meaning the programs, the things we've learned over the years, from parents, aunties, uncles, senior people around us, grandparents, and so on and so forth, society. And unless we're paying attention to all of those thoughts, we're pretty screwed. And the reality is that we can't pay attention to all of those thoughts, because every day a human being has somewhere in the region of 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day. So how are you going to compete with that consciously? Right? Because a lot of those things are happening subconsciously. So what can we do? One of the best things that you can do, and I've got them right next to me, is to journal, right? And so for those of you on Instagram, those of you elsewhere, journaling is important because the program that we have, it changes through repetition, right? So the more that we affect the code of the mind on a regular basis, the more supple it becomes, and therefore the more likely it is to create new pathways, new change, new ways of thinking. So for example, if we start to journal, we start to emphasize what our goals are, what our targets are, the things that we want to create in our life. And I'm just going to open up a page in my journal right here, just to give you an idea. I've actually filled it in for 2 date entries there. Right, so those of you there and those of you on Instagram. So I'm just showing you, this is like an A5 journal. And the way that I write my goals, and remember, I write my goals not because I'm not clear on what they are. I write them to remind myself consciously, which then helps me to reprogram my subconscious mind. So my subconscious mind can get to work with what I actually want to create, in my vision. Goals, dreams. I like the word dreams, but I like to make sure dreams is closely followed by goals, right? Because a dream with a deadline becomes a goal, right? And that way it's more likely to happen. So here's what I want to give you. Journal. And when you journal, write down your goals as if they were already done, right? Write them down as if they were already done. Why? Because what we're doing is programming the subconscious mind so it believes that reality. And therefore what happens is subconsciously, it helps us to create that reality. It's just how the mind works, right? For those of you who, connect on a more spiritual sense, have followed the studies of, people like I said, Joe Dispenza. I've come across a really cool guy recently called RJ Spina. Really great. These are the people that are here and showing us how this suit, this human body actually works, and how we can actually get it to give us what it is that we want in this life, so that we can connect to the higher self, to, where our true genius is, our true potential is. So anyway, write your goals down, write your visions down, write them as if they were already created. So for instance, I am grateful for the loving and caring wife that I have, right? Which is true. I have my wife, she's loving and caring, but I'm writing it as I want it to continue, right? That's what I want to experience. I've got other things here in terms of, I'm grateful for my UK, Mediterranean and Boca Raton homes, right? I've already got 2 of those, right? I've got a UK home, I've got a Mediterranean home that is about to actually be signed off very soon. So you write it into existence as if it's already achieved. I'm still yet to get my Boca Raton home. Who knows when that will happen in Florida, right? Another goal that I'm going to share with you, the way that I journal my visions and my goals, is I'm grateful for supporting and building schools, and I'm grateful that I reach enlightenment daily. And there's a bunch more. And then I want to give you a couple of extra things that I usually sign off with, and I'm going to share a few more examples. My identity is pure awareness and present, acting on the highest passion without expectation or fear. I am decisive. Now, this is the second step of when you write down your goals. Because we're reprogramming the subconscious mind, we have to tell it who we're going to become, because who we are right now is not us in our full potential. So if you've ever come across the book called The Alter Ego, really great book, actually. I'm looking around because I'm thinking, where's my phone? But I'm streaming on Instagram. What I can do, guys, is share the link with you in a comment after this live stream. The Alter Ego Effect. I think the author is Todd Herman. And what he talks about is what it takes for you to see who you need to become in order to be a winner. And he's a famous coach for supporting sports athletes, people like Kobe Bryant, who's a famous basketball athlete, somebody I know very well, very successful, won Olympic gold medals, also won world championships, and so on and so forth. And what he speaks about is what is the alter ego you need to adopt so that you start to train your subconscious and eventually you just become it. It's not something that you are aiming for anymore. It's something that you embody. And I think a lot of the times we don't realize, like, in order to change, we need to know who we need to become. And the best way to do that is look at some of the people that you appreciate, you look into, you think are a success, or you I'm thinking of the right word, who you think actually does good in the world, and they embody some of the values and things, the characteristics and things that you would like to. So when you're writing your goals and journaling, for example, I feel peace, love, and joy. So emotions, right? I'm decisive, I move fast, I'm strategic and focused to a high level. I'm so happy and grateful about who I am and who I'm becoming. And then I sign off with, I trust myself, I love myself, and I'm worthy of these things. And I'll tell you why this is important, guys. I don't know about you, especially guys or women, depending on how you've been brought up. I wasn't really taught to love myself in that sense. But the more that you love yourself, the more that you are in a place of higher emotion, higher frequency, higher vibration. And they always say, right, higher energy wins. Go into a room and you can spot the people with low energy compared to the people with high energy, but higher energy wins. Higher energy wins in life. It wins in business, right? And this is part of how you can help yourself to reprogram who you are. And this is what helps you to maintain, the right mindset to succeed, because it needs to be done daily, right? Like taking a shower, taking a bath. We have to do it daily. And the reason being, for all those thoughts that we have, 80% of our thoughts, and this has been scientifically researched and proven, are negative. And 95% of our thoughts come from what we thought about yesterday, days before, in the past. So we're constantly recycling a lot of negative stuff in our head. And that's why it's important to journal, to write down your vision as it's already achieved, to have vision boards. That's another great one. I've got one of my vision boards upstairs, and on there we are, me and my wife, it was a joint one we did, and I've got things ticked off there, things that have actually been manifested into reality, and it blows my mind sometimes when I look at it. I'm like, we've got that has happened, that has been achieved, right down to the very manifestation of having children, right? I already have 2 older children from a previous relationship, but with my wife, we now have 2 children. That was on our vision board, right? And so when you start looking at things like this, you start to understand the way to maintain the right mindset to succeed in life and business is to make sure that we have consistency, that we create the schedule to give ourselves the space to actually allow the things we want to happen, to have the space to actually materialize. Now, here's one important thing that I'm sharing with you. I'm not talking about just meditating and that's the end of it. And meditating and praying are also other ways of making sure that you maintain the right mindset. What I'm getting to is that you see clearly who you need to be so that you can take the relevant actions. The relevant actions, what do I mean by that? If you understand what you desire and what you see in your vision, then you can be intentional. And the more that you are in the let's say the energy of desires with matched intention to take action, this is how you bring things into reality. And there's another thing that I want to share with you. It's more of an insight. And we all know this, but I want to give you the reminder. Even when we're going for what we desire, even with the right intention, things can be tough. Because remember, you're moving from who you are now and into your potential. That means you have to learn new skills. You have to learn new emotions, new experiences, the way to handle things. And this is why the growth mindset, that is regularly used, especially in the world of personal development, is important to embody and be okay with the change and the uncomfortableness moving outside of your comfort zone that comes with it, because you cannot become who you are in your full potential without change. And you cannot become that person in your full potential without embodying and just accepting what is going to happen, that there are going to be things outside of your control. There is going to be experiences outside of your known. But so long as you're okay with that game, and I'll give you a quick story in a moment, that's where success will come from, because you're okay with being outside of your comfort zone. Because here's the thing, you trust in yourself to figure it out. You trust in yourself because who you are becoming in your potential can deal with it, can manage it. And that's why I explained, as you're journaling, to write things as if it's done, because we are programming ourselves to describe who we are. So our mind is already figuring things out, right? So rather than just the 5% of our conscious mind, we're going deeper with the 95% that can help us to maintain that, help us to go to places we wouldn't even think possible, right? And that's the beauty of who we are. I mean, you only have to look at some of the most successful people, and especially the ones who have a backstory, a hard luck story, difficulty, challenge, and there's many of those people that you can look at for inspiration. There's people who've been a success at life because they've overcome things like cancer, health issues. Doctors told them they would have like months to live, and then they ended up living like 10 years plus, or they ended up living just way longer than that they were told. It's because they programmed their mind to even heal. Like, healing is a way of living a successful life, right? Sometimes we get enamored with the idea and thought of achievement and potential and material things, but actually what are the most important material things is your own health, right? And who we are. Look at people who've had difficulties and challenges with mental health issues, and they've come out the other side to be like successes beyond other people who were still in the game and had an okay mindset. It's because they didn't push outside of their comfort zone, and they didn't go to a place of who they could become. They weren't embodying those different things. One of the other ways to maintain a successful mindset is community, right? Now, the programs I run as a mentor and coach is having the right people in my programs, because that community becomes the support mechanism. It becomes the people who are thinking with a higher energy level, who are going for things, and it becomes infectious. And as you're growing, right, there's an important thing to make sure you keep and distance yourself away from, and even cut out toxic people in your life. If those people are actually your family, then it's about creating distance and separation rather than cutting them out. But if those people who are toxic around you are relationships that you can actually avoid and, not participate anymore, that's another key to success, because the people around you are also part of your environment, right? So speaking about environment and moving on from there, if what the things that resonate with you, that take you outside of yourself and take you to a higher level, and you know what those things are, and they help you to go to a place of more happiness and feeling of joy, then do those things, like listening to music, going for a walk, going for a run, going to the gym. It may even mean going to have a shower or wash up at home. You will know. It might mean meeting with friends, connecting with other people. Like, what you've got to pay attention to, and which is why I suggested to you guys, like, to journal, because not only journaling the things that you want to create, but journaling what you become aware to, what you observe about your self-awareness, right? And this is good because a lot of the things that happen, and again, I've said this earlier in this live stream today, a lot of the things that happen to us are in our subconscious. So if we're not capturing, the slips, what come out of our mouth with words, the different things we kind of just think, oh, that's just the way life is. If we don't capture that, we can never change it, because we let it go by unconsciously. And so I'm going to give you a couple of stories. So this week I was at jiu-jitsu. So some of you know that I practice jiu-jitsu. I've been doing it for about 3.5 years now. I'm a blue belt. So if anybody knows in jiu-jitsu, it means that, I've put my time in and I'm on my way. I'm on my journey. And I'm pretty okay. Yeah. I would say I'm above average. But anyway, here's the story. So this week I was rolling with somebody who's more advanced than me a couple of days ago. And I was in a difficult situation where they were choking me, right? Choking to the point where The breathing was hard, but it wasn't that I couldn't breathe. And this is the point that I want to talk to you about, of being able to be okay with being outside of your comfort zone. So I was in a dominant position, but the position that they had me in, their arm was around my neck and I was getting choked. But I wasn't getting choked to the point where I couldn't breathe. It's just that the breathing was just a bit more slower, a bit less capacity in my breath. So I wasn't having deep breaths, but I was breathing enough. And in the moment, as I'm getting choked, I said to myself, "You're actually okay, Leon, right? You can cope with whatever's happening right now because your life is not threatened. Because if you're being choked, obviously your life is threatened." But here's the point that I want to get to. In the moment, I realized that I was okay with being in the hole. Now, for some of you, that hole might mean the challenges you're currently facing in life and business, health, business success, finances, debt, emotions, problems with your partner or family members or friends, like whatever the challenges are you're experiencing. So as I'm there being choked, like this person is really trying to choke me and get me to the point. So I tap, because in jiu-jitsu you tap a person, like, you know, you tap them a couple of times or you hit the floor, and that's the sign to release. You submit, you've learned your lesson, or you're okay with losing this time, and you know, you learn from that. So anyway, I'm in the hole, I'm being choked, and this person's really trying to pull, and then I wait for them to relax, and as they relax, I adjust my arm, and then I start actually choking them. They release their grip, and then we move on from there. But here's the thing that I want to share with you. In the moment, I'm in the hole, I'm being choked. And when I say I'm in the hole, I'm in, you know, the dark place. I'm in the place where I'm currently challenged. And I say to myself, this is okay. You're going to ride this, Leon. And this is the thing that I want you to take away around who you can become in your vision and how you should maintain the mindset. Because at that point, I'm being choked and I'm maintaining the mindset that this is going to be okay. Right. And it was okay. And the more you put yourself into experiences that take you outside of your comfort zone, the more you understand who you are and your potential. The more you understand that you can ride out things with patience, the more you can understand that you are going into this place of flow. You hear a lot of successful athletes and actors and people just talking about that they can just embody flow, they can just step into it. This is how you maintain that mindset, by experiencing it. You know, the more you put yourself into different situations, different environments, the ones that are there to grow you, the ones that are leading you closer to the vision, closer to the things that you want to experience more of, the more you succeed. But here's what happens in life. I've got bills, I've got customers complaining, I've got demands from clients, I've got a wife or a husband or children, they're asking of me, I've got responsibilities. And what happens is all of these things don't align necessarily with joy, with happy emotions. But here's the thing, you've got to tell yourself, as you're going through, you know, the changes, and as you step your way up towards the vision and success that you want in your life, that I'm okay being in the hole, and I'm going to figure out what my next move is to make it better, to make it more joyful, to make it more happier, to know that I can take, you know, the difficult things that I need to do, and still that's going to lead me to the successes that I want in life. So this is how you can maintain the right mindset to succeed. I've got one more story to share with you and why this is important. This is a client story from this week. So I was having a one-on-one coaching session with one of my clients. We were talking about success and landing clients and reactivating a client that she has. And in the conversation, she said, you know, the person's paying her something like 8,000 euros right now. And in reality, she would like to charge them double, perhaps triple. And as we're speaking, you know, and I'm taking her through this, like, you know, coming up with the answers of how she can do this, she says, but they won't pay that, right? And this is what I'm talking about. Sometimes we say things and we make it okay, like that's normal, that's life. And I caught her in the moment and I said, look, you've just allowed your own negative thoughts to say that it's okay and that a client won't pay you. So have a guess what you will create in your life, right? Because where your attention goes, your energy flows. So if your attention is on the negative, your energy will flow into the negative. So if you're thinking this isn't going to happen, have a guess what you're going to create in your life. This ain't going to happen in life and business, right? And I'm here to tell you that whatever you think, you're right. But if you think more successfully, more positively, more into the potential, more into the vision, have a guess what you're actually going to create? More of that. So anyway, in that moment, I capture with my clients, I say to her, you need to take that thing that you just said, that statement you just said about your client, and understand how we can reverse engineer or break that down so that the client is happy to pay. And what we actually found is that it was that she didn't understand how to inject more value into her offer to reactivate her client to a higher level, rather than thinking this is what they paid last year, this is what they paid the year before, and they won't change. Just because you felt negative, you've got this kind of message from your subconscious, but you just haven't been able to become aware and change it. So anyway, we caught that, she captured it. And this is what I want to share with you guys. The more you capture what's going on with your subconscious mind, the more successful you'll become. And sometimes it takes an external person, people, or community to make that happen. You can't do this thing alone, guys. That's the thing. The mind never sees the faults of the mind, right? That's why you have to practice. It's like going to the gym. You can't build muscle by having a membership and not attending. You have to attend, stress the muscle, break the muscle down for it to grow and become stronger. It's the same thing with the mind, guys. And on that note, here's what I want to share with you as my conclusions. If you're in a place where you need to change the success and the level of your business, and you run a coaching, consulting, or service-based business, reach out to me and I can send you details of the kind of programs and successes that I help my clients to achieve. Because if 2024 is the year that you go to that next level, it's going to be mostly down to your mindset. It isn't the strategy, isn't the model, because if your mindset's not in it, whether it's you or you and your team and you're the leader, you dictate the level and the direction of where things are going to go. And if your mindset isn't maintained in a level and an environment of success, then it's not going to go to the place where you want it to get to, or the journey is going to be a lot longer for you. So if you want to find out more, just comment below this video with the words coaching, right? And on that note, I want to say thank you very much for watching, guys. I'll be back on Monday. Otherwise, check out my profiles for other videos and different things that I'm publishing. Thank you. Bye-bye.